Hi, seekers and light workers. Namaste. Welcome back to Holistic Harmony Channel. Santina, you have to do this. Yeah, thank you. Welcome back. I'm Danielle. This is my friend Santina. She's from BornToVibe, and she's going to be just giving a short interview with me today for the viewers that are out there that don't know me on a personal level or are just meeting me recently for the first time. So, welcome aboard.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, thanks for coming and filming late night on a Tuesday.
This is how we roll.
You're the best.
This
Seriously,
is how we
spontaneous.
roll.
We just figured out that we were going to do this today.
The creatives have to just get together at night. That's when we thrive, I feel like.
Absolutely. Yeah, and what a long day it is for me on Tuesdays because I teach a lot of classes, so I'm sure that you have long days too. Do you want to tell us a little bit about BornToVibe?
Yeah, sure. So, like Danielle said, I'm Santina, BornToVibe. It's pretty much a art entertainment platform. I just like to promote and showcase anyone's art in general. So whether that's music, which is my biggest passion is in music.
Mine too, believe it or not. I'm sure people would think that it's yoga, but music is my number one from birth.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. I know we've like dabbled a little bit into that, like wanting to talk about more. We've ran into each other at
a concert.
311.
Yeah,
randomly.
over the summer.
We didn't even know that we were both going.
That was so fun.
That was cool to just.
You give the best hugs, by the way.
Oh, that's so good. Best compliment ever.
Seriously.
Yeah, so music is the biggest for me, but it's really just art. So whether you're a poet, a photographer, a videographer, a painter, whatever it is, I just want to be a platform for people to be able to have a place to express themselves and also for other people to go to find something new. So even with
That's
this,
cool.
we're going, that you're getting into YouTube videos and everything. For people to come to my page and discover you through that's a different art form, So just art in general, interviewing is my number one favorite thing to do. I love having, an artist that I'm captivated by and then getting to get into their head a little bit more and learn about them the way that, with the questions that I want to know and, just get into their head by the way that my mind works and how I want to know them through myself in a way.
Which can also trickle down and relate to other people understanding as well.
Exactly.
Because you're putting, another aspect to it in a different spin.
Right.
Cool. So interesting.
It's my perspective, which is different from another person who's interviewed them before from their perspective. So sure. you get a mix.
I love that. So essentially you're kind of doing what I'm doing with Holistic Harmony.
Yeah.
Because this was originally thought up to connect and unite people that were into any aspect of holistic health.
Yeah.
Of the body, of the mind, of the spirit, of the soul. So whatever that looks like, I never really had too much of an agenda. I always thought it was going to be energy work for sure, Reiki, acupuncture, yoga, all that kind of stuff. But as I go along, I see that it's so many other aspects and areas too. So this channel was really meant to unite. It was never meant to be Danielle's channel.
Yeah.
This is called Holistic Harmony. And then I added tribe to it because I feel like it's generating a community of family and togetherness and support when some people don't have any otherwise. And especially on this journey of awakening, I feel as though it's really hard to find like-minded people sometimes.
Yeah.
And we also wind up shedding people along the process, which is oftentimes very difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
And so by uniting people in this end of a community, it also separates your family and your friends from another avenue of support and education and, just love.
I love how you said about shedding people. I think that as humans, we have such a problem letting go because whether that's for the fear of what's to come or what's lost because you're so used to something, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but shedding people and growing out of things or out of people or away from things or from people is such a healthy and positive way, because if people aren't there to lift you up or support you or understand what it is you need to go through on your own path, your own journey, then that's negativity.
It's
Even
hard
if they're
to
not a
survive.
bad person,
Right.
that doesn't mean that they're a bad person. It's just if they're not supporting you or uplifting you in some way, that is ultimately negative to you.
Well, yeah, they're going to keep you at a certain level. I have
Yeah.
so many things to add to that. I don't even know where to begin.
Right.
I love this conversation already. You know, first of all, just starting off with the idea of attachment.
Yeah.
And so people get really stuck, and people, myself,
I was
we're
just
human.
going to say,
Yeah.
people as in raising my hand, like totally me.
No, like, no derogatory, you know, feelings right there. Like, that was meant for, like, human in general. Yeah.
Us included, for sure.
1000%. We attach to things, and we identify with them very heavily.
Yeah.
And so oftentimes when things become in misalignment with us, because we're raising our vibrations and we're getting to a different place and a different frequency and a different cycle and a different stage of life, situations, people, things, they slide off, as I said in my new moon video for March. They slide away. And the more we resist that, the more we hold on to things and keep things into our lives that therefore create harder lessons to be learned oftentimes, or just the repetition of the same kind of stuff over and over again that you're like, why won't this just go away or be done, or I'm so over it. How many times do we feel like that?
All the time.
Right. And so we have to just bring more awareness to the fact that if we release and let go and surrender to divine timing and all of these things that are easy to say when you're in hindsight, but bringing it to the foresight and then applying it to the experiences and the people and the situations to execute and learn, that's how we truly grow.
I totally agree with that. And I think even for me personally, I have such this idea in my mind of, and I mean, I'm on, you know, my journey as well, and I definitely am in the best place as I've been ever, but I also feel like I'm still at the starting line. You know, I'm like a completely beginner, but it's just like in your mind, or in my mind, it's like I know who I eventually want to be, and I am so resistant of doing the things that I know that can help to get there, because it's almost like you have this sort of subconscious pull of like, oh, don't give in to awakening or knowing yourself, because it's like it's almost like the negativity pulling you down, trying to keep you at bay.
Well,
and not
that's the ego.
Yourself. Yeah, it's the ego.
And it's the shadow side of you that needs to be recognized and just accepted in order for you to just be like, all right,
I surrender.
Yeah.
You know? And again, I'm definitely in the best place that I have been, but it's a constant battle. And I know that you and I have spoke briefly about it, but I know for me personally, the hardest part has been even just like the mental health aspect of it. That has been a huge setback, if you will, even though I don't like to look at that as a negative thing, but it can be such a setback. And even just dealing with anxiety daily and having to navigate through that, and how it can be so different every single day, makes you feel like you're starting over. Like any growth that you make can get torn down in just one day, and that's difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's scary, and it's challenging. Again, I have so many things to say to that.
Right.
I don't even know if we finished the other things that I had to say to the other thing, which I don't even remember what it is anymore. But, you know, mental health is a passion of mine. I am not a therapist.
Yeah.
I am not licensed in anything other than hair.
We're going to get there.
Which also is a form of therapy. However, I have been through my own journey of mental health myself.
Right.
And it's not something that coincidentally I felt comfortable talking about until last week.
Oh!
Not even kidding.
Surprise! We're going to dive right into mental health then.
Wow. Okay, so this video already is turning into something that we didn't anticipate. The other thing that I just want to add to that, though, is that everything in life is cyclical. So although it feels like we are starting over every single time and every day is different, we are always at some part of a journey.
Right.
We start off in the beginning, we work our way through the gray areas and wind up at the end.
Yeah.
And what I like to do, especially with the energy reports and the guided meditations with the moon, is to give a level of awareness so that you can take control and pinpoint where you are on what cycle in your life, because we're going through many. It's not like here's my one cycle. It's not a washing machine. This is not my one cycle that I'm going through in life. It might be an overall thing that we've been shedding and dealing with since birth.
Right.
Depending on where we are in life. Or it could just be something that's teaching us something right now because it's going to get us to the next stage to get us to the point where we complete the full cycle. Right. So we could be in the middle, towards the end, and get stuck in a certain place because we fall resistant to wanting to make the changes to move forward because we're fearful. Because we're fearful of failure, because we are attached to the situations and the people that are surrounding where we're at right now that we refuse to let them go. Right. Because we don't know, because we're uneducated, because there are so many moving parts and people involved that we don't know where to begin on how to navigate through it because there's so many aspects beyond our control. So what I'm always looking to do is give people control through whatever form of information that I can. And I like to work with energy. That's just been my thing. Mm-hmm. So I find it in any way that I can to shape and mold the message and extend it out to help people navigate through whatever awakening cycle they're going through. That's my main purpose and my mission.
So, okay, so what pressures do you feel like you personally have as somebody who is sort of viewed as, you're
go ahead,
on this
give
journey.
Me this.
No, but you're viewed as somebody who's, more awakened, or I don't mean higher as in like better. I don't mean anything with the ego. I just mean as like you're somebody who people can go to watch these videos and learn from. Right? Like, no one's really coming to me to learn these things. Like, I'm not there yet, if ever. You know what I mean? So, like, I go to you. Other people go to you, to your videos, to just conversations with you. So do you ever feel that you have a sort of pressure or a standard to be at that you have to fit that mold 24/7?
Of course. First of all, thank you for saying that because that's really special to me. I appreciate that. I absolutely feel the pressure of needing to be in my own harmony at all times,
which makes you feel like you're not allowed to be human sometimes.
Yes.
Now, what is your biggest human moment? Like, when do you feel like you can just be, and that doesn't have to be like just right. Be. Or I'm allowed to be lazy on a Sunday, and almost that like there's a depressive laziness, which is it's a thing where you might have a million things to do, but you just need a day to lay on the couch.
Well, it is funny because it's almost like you are like a fly on the wall here. Like, how do you know that I'm always working 24/7 and always doing stuff? I mean, aside from the fact that my posts show and reflect that I am very active in the community and, right. All of the things that I do. I have experienced burnout physically and emotionally over the past 2 months, more so than ever, with just the collaboration of things that have happened. And also, it made me re-examine what I have been doing to perhaps get to a place where that would still even affect me so much.
Right.
And I realized that it was because I was taking healthy things, and I have actually been mentioning this recently just because it's through my awareness that I extend out the information. I wouldn't be able to talk about the things that I talk about if I didn't experience them myself.
Right. If
So,
it's on a personal level.
100%.
You're not, and I've taken your classes, whether that's yoga or just even here in your home, like, I know that when you're speaking, it's so genuine. It's from the heart. It's not like, oh, let me read you this book, and here's what somebody else says, and I'm just copying. It's totally you, 100%.
Thank you.
And it reads that way. I mean, not to like pat myself on the back, but like I could tell, like
You're a professional.
Yeah, like I know when someone's being genuine and when someone's being fake. It's just a vibe you can read. It's the energy you can read, and it just is.
And you're super tapped into that, so I appreciate that. Yeah. So because of that, I am writing all of these things and researching lots of stuff all the time. And because I do that aspect of it in my home office, it's oftentimes also really difficult to know when to separate working from not working.
Right.
And because I live alone, I have no other energy in my house to be able to kind of break up that monotony for me.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, I realized that over the last year especially, I have filled every moment of my day with work.
Yeah.
Because my hobbies and my creative things turned into this like super powerful big projects that I have to pour my energy into in order to make them happen the way that I do.
Do you in any way feel like, and for the record, you just mentioned a year. Now, that's the amount of time that I've known you.
Yeah.
I met you about a year ago.
Yeah.
So
through the studio.
Right, through Afterglow. So
And you.
Right, so let's go back a year. Do you feel at that time when you sort of really, really involved yourself that you started by in some way trying to avoid something or run away from something? Or was it really just like, this is something I'm passionate about, and you just go 110?
I think that on some level, any time that we try to achieve or, for me, it was more like, I don't have anyone else to spend my energy on. I feel like people have children. Mm-hmm. And, when people ask me, like, how do you do all the stuff that you do? I literally am like, I don't watch TV and I don't have children. Because I feel like if I did have children, the amount of energy that I put into this, I would put into them. So, any mom does as much as I do, in my opinion. And, the amount of time that we do spend on social media and watching television and numbing out with things like that, again, I watch instead educational videos because that's what interests me. Yeah. So instead of spending 3 hours a day watching a soap opera or a movie, mm-hmm. I'm watching videos or taking courses. I mean, the amount of lectures that oh my God, a million. So I couldn't even count. I have certifications that I don't even remember I have anymore. Literally.
They're just filed away.
Totally. I've always meant to hang them up and I don't even know where they are anymore. I'm just like, oh, well, whatever.
It's all in here.
That's right. In the vault.
Yeah.
So it is a lot of pressure for me, especially with my Reiki practice, mm-hmm. where it is really important for you to be in the best state of health, because if you're transferring energy to another person and you're not in good karma and good mind frame, you're giving a disservice.
I was just going to say, you're offering a disservice to the next person, which goes back to the pressure. Mm-hmm. What if you're having a bad day that day? How do you get in the zone to be able to heal or help heal or give off that energy that is necessary if you're not in that mind frame that particular day?
I think that my hair business helped me to get to a point where it's like I'm an actor or a performer. Wow. Where I literally will go into work and I just leave whatever I had brought there with me at the door. And it That's also really forces me to remain super present so that I can just be in the moment and give the level of care that I need to give to the person. And then when I leave, I always wind up either feeling really a little bit better or feeling a lot worse.
Do you ever...
Okay, so...
Right, it can go
Most
either
of the
way,
time better. Most of the time better. But sometimes I'm just so overwhelmed that I'll cry all the way home.
Okay, so when you leave, though, and you have to go back, do you feel like it's important, if you feel better, just say you feel better, the hair helped, whatever you're doing helped, do you feel that when you leave, you're like, oh, great, okay, I feel better, like, I feel better, go, and just keep on? Or do you feel like you have to tap back in and feel those emotions that were negative or causing you sadness or whatever?
That's a really good question, and I think you may have just even helped me realize that usually what happens when I do leave and I feel better is that I want to go to a bar. Like, I literally want to hang out, and I want to be around people, and I want to, like, socialize.
Yeah.
And usually a bar is the first place to go, because where else am I going?
What else is there to do?
What else am I doing? Yeah, like, I don't want to sound like an alcoholic when I just said that. Like, I want to go to a bar. Like, it's not like that. It's just
not
that.
At all, and I'm sure that your audience and our audience will totally.
I want to go to a social event,
right.
and I don't want it to always be a workshop or something like that. So it's like sometimes I need a break from yoga too, because I live it all day long. So like my first instinct is like, let me see who's around to go to dinner. Usually no one. So what else am I going to do by myself? Okay, got it. What else am I going to do by myself? Then at least go sit, eat. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, unwind and then
Tuesday
go home.
Before here all by myself. I go every Tuesday to Taco Tuesday.
Where?
In Bayshore.
Oh.
It's called Changing Times.
Oh, okay.
It's embarrassing. They're like the most American tacos, and I can't get enough of them. Cool. Every Tuesday now, the waitress just comes over with my water with lemon, 3 veggie tacos. Yep. Okay.
That's cool. My friend Jimmy plays at Changing Times,
really?
I believe. I think so. So, yeah, all right. But you get it.
Yeah.
So, if I'm alone, I have to come home alone every day. The way I feel about it is I just served everyone all day long.
Right.
I want to go someplace, be served, sit, have dinner, have a drink, talk to someone, and then go home.
It's funny.
I don't want to go home right away.
They're both serving, but in such a different way, and it's really cool how you bridge those almost together. Like I'm serving all day, and then you go to a place that's like totally has nothing to do. Someone's serving you, but in a totally different way. It's not spiritual at all.
No, I gotta be a human sometimes. Yeah. My God.
It's funny. You're both serving, but one is like, here's a beer, here's your
totally.
Whatever.
Well, when I went away to
your energy.
Yeah. Thank you. Now I'm gonna go home and cleanse it so that I don't pass it on. Yeah. When I went away to DR 2 weeks ago, first time I went away in 3 years, and my room was next to the casino. Oh, so by day, I'm reading Bhagavad Gita and meditating like crazy. And by night, I'm chilling in the casino smoking a cigar. I have to be a human sometimes.
I love it.
By myself.
Yeah.
I
love it.
It's what it is. What else am I going to do? But I do think that on some occasions, it was me feeling my sadness also that made me want to like go out and go to dinner and not be okay. Sometimes I'm not okay to just come home and be alone.
Right.
And that sucks.
It's funny that you said, besides getting dinner, but when you said initially a bar. So I have way too, all too well known the feeling, been there. I for a while I've reduced my alcohol intake because I also was using that as a crutch, as,
You're in the music scene.
Right.
Hi.
Yeah, but it was, not good. And there have been, I go to therapy. April will be a year. It's been the best decision of my life for me personally. I know that's not for everyone.
I'm 5.5 years.
I had no idea.
Oh, yeah. I hadn't went for like 1.5 years, but I just started going back like a month ago.
It's changed, it's changed my life tremendously in so many ways.
But I'm glad to hear that, because a lot of times there's stigma about therapy that people just really don't want to go. And, what I've learned, especially very recently, is that I cannot support everyone and not have anyone supporting me. Yeah. Because I don't know what my needs are correctly. Because I'm not aware of certain things.
Because you're so worried about figuring out how to help everyone else's needs.
Thanks, guys. I'm just kidding. That's my own stuff.
Yeah.
To work through, and, my own choices and stuff like that. And going to therapy and, having someone to express myself to and have better tools than me, oftentimes I'm
Yeah.
giving her the tools that I picked up. Like literally from week to week, she'll be like, an average person would stay in this mind frame, in this cycle, in these situations for like months at a time.
Yeah.
She's like, literally, you come in the next week and you're just
Oh, right.
like, read 2 books, did all these things, got this down. This is what happened. What do you think?
But
That's
even to
basically how my
just
therapy
be
sessions are now.
in an environment that your feelings and emotions are being validated and in a completely unbiased, non-judgmental atmosphere.
Because it's really nice to have friends to vent to and stuff like that, but people that care about you in a different way are gonna rally behind you sometimes.
Rally behind you, sugarcoat,
right?
But whatever it is, or maybe I don't want to say this because maybe that will upset them more.
Or maybe they're just unaware, of like what to tell you that is healthy for you, and like you need an unbiased person and an outside source sometimes to help figure that out. Nothing wrong with that. Please do that, everybody.
Right. But the alcohol as a coping mechanism, as a crutch, I was totally doing that, and I was blacking out. I wouldn't know what I was doing, what I had done, doing and saying terrible things, regrettable things, being a person that I never thought that I would be.
I would never see you like that. You are literally the sweetest person in the whole world, but we all have a shadow side.
Yes, and
that's cool, man. That makes us
human. It's such a complex. It makes us human, but it is such a complex because it would really get me in my mind of which one am I really? Right. Is this whatever that's coming out, who I truly am, and this, my sober whatever, is this my illusion of who I think that I am because I just want to be a good person, or I want to think that I am, but once I'm drinking and in this blacked out state, am I tapping into who I really am? This awful
Can I ask how old you are?
26.
Okay, yeah. So I was going to say, that sounds like me in my early 20s. Totally. Questioning this person that I don't recognize through influences that are not necessary, and therefore you're just questioning your whole self and being,
and I mean even now it's I've definitely cut out drinking tremendously. I make smarter decisions. It's no shots, or have a water after every 2 drinks, or whatever is whatever may have you, but I still fear. It's if someone offers me a drink, or we go out to have drinks, and it's I don't know, I get nervous. I'm always nervous because I don't know if this one is going to turn into whatever, and it's it's hard.
Yeah, finding the self-control I think takes time and awareness and maturity.
Yeah, it does.
And I commend you because not everyone recognizes that. Or some of us take a lot longer.
Yeah.
And again, everybody's on their own journey. So, awesome that you're at the place where you can see that. Just know that it's going to develop and grow into an even quicker and stronger instinct.
Right.
It's a muscle you're developing.
Yeah. Sometimes I joke around and I say my problem is that I'm too painfully aware. I just don't do anything about it. It's no, I know what I'm doing, or I know what I'm not doing, but
that's the
I'm not changing it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to change
young.
it yet. Yeah. Yeah. I'll get there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you know what? When you are an advocate or a spokesperson, or in the, industry where people are looking at you and to you, you want to represent yourself in a certain way that no one's digging up dirt on you, people respect you, and you're not building a reputation that precedes you that's negative.
Right.
Common sense, but sometimes, we can't really get there. But you know what? I think building routines that are healthy, even starting off your morning with journaling and, just really setting the tone for how you want to be for the day. I pull tarot every day. I do energy readings for myself for the week, and then the day of, I pull more cards and find out what the messages are for me for morning, afternoon, evening.
Love that.
And then that helps me then perhaps be what is that?
What are you talking about?
I'm like, oh man, can't wait to see what happens this afternoon. But it just will like bring me to a level of awareness where I could be like, that's swords. That's swords energy. I got to be careful of that. And that's all I'm ever trying to do with all of my energy reports. Again, tarot being one of them, where I just bring an extra tool. That's all it is. It's an extra tool to be able to navigate through and, you know, create awareness to make better choices and decisions. And we are all learning and we are all growing, and we're always changing, and keeping the faith and being surrounded and supported by people who will uplift, be wise, be kind, compassionate, and have good sound advice, and, you know, also be able to not judge and love.
Yeah, it's the most powerful.
Will help you give the same back in return, and therefore, you know, create the type of energy and outcomes and life that you want. And I dive so deep into that with yoga and meditation and all of my classes and all my workshops, right? On every level.
Totally. Completely.
Everybody knows when they take one of my classes or my workshop that it's going to be so deep. Like, we're not coming to meet for, like, arts and crafts or playing with crystals. Like, you know, we're learning about all the philosophies, the histories, and, you know, how it's made, where it started, and, you know, whatever.
And how it relates. Mm-hmm. How it relates to...
I love science, so I really try to simplify the complicated through facts and, you know, feelings.
Science is not my specialty.
Not yet.
Okay. Well, back to the using hair as therapy and everything. I know that was sort of supposed to be your path. That's what you wanted to do. You know, you've done that for so long.
Yeah, but can I just tell you something? Yeah. I didn't go to school to do hair until I was 27.
Okay. What was your original... What did you think you were...
No idea. I never knew what I was going to do. Never. I was not the kid that was like, I'm going to be the president of the United States, or I'm going to be an artist, or I'm going to be married. Like, I never thought of anything about myself in the future. I always was just kind of like unsure and not tapped into my own passions. And I kind of picked them up and grew with them along the way.
I honestly resonate with that so much, because I am half of that. I'm 50-50. So in 8th grade, like in middle school, I started doing the morning announcements, and I knew that I loved...
I could totally see you doing that. Hi, it's Santina.
Yeah.
803.
Right. Mm-hmm. And it was, you know, it was on video. I loved being on camera. I loved everything about it. So from then on, I, in high school, went and took public speaking classes, did the morning announcements in high school. Those we did live, so it was more adrenaline. I mean, I was anxiety ridden the whole time, but I loved it. Like, it was the adrenaline that was, you know, the good kind, and continued on in college as well. The bad part was that in that time, I also loved just the entertainment world. So E-News became my, like, Bible, if you will.
Right, I figured into that.
Yeah, like my Bible, if you will. And I kind of had it in my head since 8th grade, okay, I want to be an entertainment anchor on E-News, which sounds great on paper for a little while, until it was just like, because I was so happy that I knew what I wanted to do forever, I didn't really allow myself to stray beyond that.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, I know what I want to do. While everyone's so undecided, I know. But I was ignoring other passions along the way. Now, don't get me wrong, music was always the forefront, but I didn't realize that I could take my real, like, main passion and turn that into a job or a career someday. So I didn't go to school for that. I went for communication. I concentrated in radio and TV, and I knew that I wanted to be an entertainment anchor on E-News. It was not until my senior year of college.
Wow.
When I started working on campus for the Women's Center and the End Violence Center. And the woman who ran those two departments was also technically my sorority sister, because she went to the school years before, and you know, she worked on campus, so she came back as our director. So I was working with her being in the sorority, and I was working with her on campus. I love her for it now, but basically forced me into doing the vagina monologues. I don't know if you've ever heard of those. Eve Ensler, a monologue, basically just interviewed a whole bunch of women and got their stories about, you know, it's funny. There, you know, some are funny, some are super serious.
Right.
And she convinced me to do it, and I wanted to do this one piece that was literally 2 lines, and she's like, no. She handed me a script. She's like, what do you think of this? First thing I looked, it was 2 pages, not full pages, kind of like poem form. And I was like, way too long. Like, I've never been on, you know, I've never done anything on stage, whatever. And she's like, just read it. And it was called My Short Skirt. And just, it was just basically about how what a woman's wearing does not give anybody the right to
treat her.
Right.
Yeah.
In any sort of way.
Uh-huh.
I read it and I was like, because I'm like, that's it. Like, this is my piece. You know, did the vagina monologues, absolutely loved it. Started getting more involved with women's issues, all that kind of stuff. Started figuring out more of my passions. And I'm like, oh my gosh, my 4 years of college are behind me now. I figured this out as I'm leaving college. And that was just something that I don't want to call it a regret because, you know, I still have all my life to live. I can always learn, you know, whatever. But it was just that I, for so long, had it instilled in me that I knew what I was doing. I knew my path, that so much that I was just being stubborn to not allow other things in.
Right. And so let me just reassure you then that it's never a waste of time or energy or effort. You're always going to pick things up. Whatever it is that you've been doing along the way right now is building a foundation for wherever you're going. Right. And I can tell you that firsthand because, like I said, I did not go to hair school until I was 27. I have 85 credits in a CUNY. My last major that I think I left off in was sociology, but before that I was a communications tech major. I took video editing. I was a music major. I was a liberal arts major. I changed my major like 7 times. Yeah. Okay. And throughout that, I worked at Home Depot in the paint department and learned how to mix paint, which helped me know how to mix color.
I love it.
I was 19.
I love it.
I didn't know. I'm like looking at like a deep base, like how translucent it is and like know how much more pigment goes into it. So like those kind of things. 10 years later.
And in the moment, you're probably like, oh, my Home Depot job. Like,
I loved it, actually. I was like, this is so much fun. They were like, where do you want to work? Do you want to work in electrical? Do you want to be a cashier? Do you want to work in paint? I'm like, I want to work in paint. And I'm over here lifting 5-gallon buckets, like, with the dudes, mixing paint. Loved it.
Because we're independent women.
Yeah. Loved it. But, you know, and then from there, I worked in real estate and I learned all the business end. So all the stuff that you see that helps me run my business. Right. I learned that through my real estate education. Oh, by the way, I have my real estate license. I said I was only licensed in hair. I'm also licensed in real estate.
She literally just forgot.
I told you.
I have certificate is somewhere in here.
Yeah, no, I think I know where it is.
She uses it as a pillow.
This one's good tonight.
Yeah.
Oil it up with my face. So, yeah, real estate helped me with my business stuff and knowing how to navigate through that and build and grow. And I sold Avon, which helped put me through beauty school. I managed a team of 65 people that helped me quit my job and go to school and live off of that. I gave up my apartment, you know, all that kind of stuff. I also worked in floral design, so the consultation aspect of that and getting into the heads of other people to pull their vision out and produce it into a, you know, showroom and therefore a venue after that is like working with brides. So if I could do that, then I could do hair.
If you can do that, you can do anything, I think.
Right. So it was like every step along the way, I totally felt, I'm sure, I don't remember anymore because it's been so long now. I'm 35. So, you know, back then, I'm sure I was like, oh my God, I can't. I'm sure when I left real estate, I was like, oh, I love this job. Like, I can't believe this. Now what am I going to do? Right. And then I fell into flowers and then I'm going back to school to do hair. That was not my dream. I was supposed to be a makeup artist. Because I sold Avon. Right. And I made a lot of money throwing parties. And I was like, man, if I could apply the makeup, I'll sell so much more of it. Let me go to school and learn how to do makeup.
So it's not a bad thing though, by any means. It's like you take the situation that you're in and adapt to it. That's not a bad thing. That's like a survival thing. That's, that's
I'm definitely a survivor.
Yeah, I mean, that's a powerful thing in and of itself, that you can do whatever, right? I mean, that's super powerful.
I think anybody can. That's my theory and my philosophy, and that's what I try to extend out to everybody else. I don't feel like I'm any different than anybody else.
I agree with you. I think everyone can, but what I'm recognizing in you and complimenting you is that you recognize that in yourself. People can do whatever, but to be like, oh, look at me, I'm making money off this, let me go and take the next step. Some people will be like, yeah, well, I'm good at it, but to go to school and have to learn, they can do it. It's just whatever is stifling them and stopping them to actually take the next step to get to the next step.
Right.
You're like, oh, I'm going to crush this next step. Let's go.
Next step. I'm 2 steps ahead of that. What are you talking about?
Show me the money, so to speak.
I guess, my passion and my fire has always been growth.
Right.
And learning. And then business building. Mm-hmm. And then hair and color and chemical services. And then science and anatomy and yoga and philosophy and meditation. It just all fell into place.
Right. In such a beautiful harmony, no pun intended. Or
Thanks.
All the puns intended.
Yeah.
And also with the color and everything, listen, this mane that I have, that I've had for far longer than I care to let the hairdresser in the room know.
I could tell.
Hey!
It's beautiful. But that's like 12 years of hair right there.
Well, this is actually only over 2.
From what length? Not from scalp. I'm talking from scalp to end.
Scalp. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I'm like 2 years.
No, but
what are you, like that doll that you lift up the arm and the hair grows?
I'm telling you, this is the length of my hair. Well, in October would have been my 2-year mark since I got a haircut.
Oh, no.
And I know. That's why I said not to tell you, but every 2 years, this would have been my 3rd in a row. The first year I cut 10 inches off. The second year I cut 12. And I still had a nice amount of hair.
Oh my God, I'm sure. Beautiful. Did you donate it?
Of course.
Yes. Okay, yes. Awesome.
So my point is that I've also been going to the same hairdresser since I was in high school, who did all my homecomings, my prom, and no one else has touched my hair in that amount of time because I'm just, no.
That's how it goes, man. And there's loyalty between clients and hairdressers.
But you are going to be the person one day
that breaks up the family
to cut my hair, and more than just cut it, because that's whatever you can get over it. It's hair, it will grow. Even me, I could get over it. But to dye it, you're gonna be the one. It's gonna be purple. We've talked about it.
Yeah.
Like a year ago.
Yeah.
But I
fell asleep. It's okay. We'll get there.
You're gonna do it.
No, you have it. You have proof. So I
have
to
that's
do
why
it.
I did it. I'm literally speaking it into existence.
This
I'm
was definitely not supposed to be in the video, but just got a new hair client. All right. So anything else that we want to cover? I feel like we covered nothing.
That's the beauty of it. Now we're going to rewatch this and we're going to go, oh, we can make a whole video on that.
Yep, I was just thinking that too.
And we'll have 20 more to come.
Yeah.
This was so much fun. I could
It really
do this
was.
forever.
Seriously, thank you so much for taking the time to do this with me.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my God, come
I'm
back
glad to
every day.
pick your brain even just a little bit.
Yeah, oh my God, dude, pick my brain all the time. I love talking about this stuff, and, I really truly appreciate all of the people that are seekers that, are listening. I don't really even consider people to be like an audience. I consider us to all just be like having conversations through the soul. Yeah, and really just learning and growing. So, to give people the opportunity to get to know my human side, I think is super important, because people see me as this person who influences and, tries to really always express the highest vibes and most positivity. I myself can never maintain that all the time, which is why I have dived into and researched all of these techniques that I extend out, so that whatever is helping me, I can share with other people that don't have the time to research it themselves. That's really all it comes down to. That's why I feel like anybody can do what I do. And I get that I'm the first one to be like, we all have our own unique gifts, and, you know, no one tells a story the way that you do. And I believe that for myself too. I just feel like people have different roles in the world. Yeah. There are people that need to raise children right now. There are people that need to protest and stand up for things and, you know, do lots of other stuff. So I'm standing up for awareness, peace, love, spirituality, science, and everything good, energy. So thanks again for watching. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you want to see more like these, hit the like button. If you want to see more of Santina, who I always think of Santana when I say her name, obviously, of course. Literally, as soon as I say her name, I just hear back to what's up, baby. Yeah, so awesome. He's coming to the beach, so we'll definitely have to go to that.
I saw that. Yes, please.
We will be there.
We will be there
for sure.
Come find us.
Please subscribe to the channel if you want to stay in tune with all of the good stuff that we're always talking about. Leave a comment if you want to suggest something. Tell us a message. All of the links will be in the section below for you to get in touch with both Santina and I for whatever reasons you like. Keep them positive, keep them light. Lots of love. Namaste.
Namaste.